Okay, everybody. It is November 29th. It's approximately 9 o'clock in the morning, and we are here at Vernon Police Department. We're here for a number of reasons today. First and foremost, we want to talk to the Chief of Police, the new Chief, John Kelly, and we want to find out exactly why his police officers think they can pick and choose which laws of ours they're going to enforce and when. We'd also like to talk to the Records Department and inspect some records here today. One record in particular is case number 21-14794, involving what should have been a simple trespass. Now the complainant has tried to follow up with this department on numerous attempts to gain record of this case file. He was told approximately 10 days after the call and the report should have been handled that the report was not completed by the officer. The officer's name is Roberge, badge number 256. So he gave the department more than enough time to complete this report, and once again reached out, looks about another 10 days later. And the police department has informed him not to come to the police department, that he couldn't talk to the shift supervisor about the officer who has failed to fill out his police report, and not to come down to the police department until someone tells him that the records are available. So I find all that stuff kind of unbecoming of our public servants. I find it completely unacceptable. We're also going to be looking into the criminal history of Mr. Jacob Kilhenny and Miss Priscilla Perry relative to my family court case. We are going to ask the records custodian to take a look at the personnel file of Officer Roberge and Officer Hammock, and we're going to see how all of this goes. After we leave here, we're off to the courthouse. And I can guarantee those folks aren't going to like me there very much either. We are going to inspect and obtain records that we need to save my daughter's life today. And it's just that simple. I have a feeling they're going to try to arrest me before I can actually get the records. But we'll see what happens. So, let's get down to business here. Again, this is the Vernon Police Department. We've been here before. Beautiful history. Right? Lots going on here. Okay, let's take a look at what we have going on in our records department today.
Can I help you?
Yes. I'd like to take a look at case number 21-14794.
14794?
Yes, ma'am. 21-14794. It should have been completed by a Officer Roberts, badge number 256, and I'd also like to take a look at his personnel file, just disciplinaries and commendations, please.
Okay, hold on, please. This year.
Yeah, they're not going to have it because the officer doesn't do his job. And that's a serious problem. Take a look at press releases while we wait, I suppose, right? Press release.
14794, right?
14794, yes.
Okay, so I looked that up. It's not done yet.
Right. I think we have a serious problem in regard to that because this is, the call came in on November 6th. It was supposed to be a simple trespass. And it appears that Officer Roberts has completely neglected his duty and failed to file the police report that's supposed to be going along with this call to service.
Send you to his voicemail if you want. I have nothing to do with
Is he available here today for comment on this?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
I believe he works second shift. I don't know if he'll be here.
Second shift? All right. Can I take a look at his personnel file, his disciplinaries and his
If you wanna do
accommodations?
that, we'll just have you fill this out.
Well, what is this?
It's just an FOI thing, so if you want to write exactly what you want here,
Uh-huh.
okay? If you could fill out any information here, and then don't worry about the body.
Well, I'm not requesting records to retain. I'm just simply looking to inspect his personnel file while I'm physically
I
here
don't
today.
have access to that.
Oh, who has access to the personnel
I have
files
no
of the
idea.
police officers
Would you
here?
mind not filming my face? I'm not really comfortable with that.
I'm so sorry. You are a public servant. Maybe you should get a job in the private sector. I do need some help with, oh yeah, look at that. So, am I being denied services here? Hello? Well, there you have it, folks. Now we're gonna go live. Yes, hi. I'd like to do a physical inspection on an arrest record pertaining to a Jacob Kilhenny. There was a case file that was not yet public for quite some time. I've been after it for almost a year now. I believe the arrest was made in March of 2020. Right, well, I don't need to get records from the chief. Usually your records department here is responsible for providing all of that public information, but your records custodian is denying me records right now. And I just saw another citizen walk in and successfully acquire the records she was after by going through you. So I'm wondering if you would be so kind to do that same courtesy for me.
Can I help you?
Oh, hang on, are you the chief? All right, I got Chief John Kelly out here now. Thank you so much. Mr. Kelly, Tyrant Slayer Studios, nice to meet you.
I don't feel well. I'm not sticking here.
All right. Hey, well, thanks for showing up to work anyway. I appreciate that. Listen, we've got a number of serious issues I'd like to address with you, and I'd like to get your comments on these issues if you'd be so kind to give me some of your time today.
What can I help you with?
Well, first of all, your records department is open right now, right?
It is.
Okay. Does it look open to you?
What do you need?
I came down here for a number of records, to inspect a number of records. I was being helped, and then when I asked for the personnel file, to inspect the personnel file of one of your officers, I was met with a steel door. Is there a reason why you guys are withholding and obstructing public information from the public as opposed to just letting me inspect the record?
Who are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for a number of case files, and I'm looking for the personnel file on Officer Hammock and Officer Roberts, badge number 256. I just want disciplinaries and accommodations. It should take 10 minutes to print that stuff out. I could be right out here in this lobby waiting patiently. I'll go ahead and review those records. And then from there, we'll go ahead and look at some arrests and some case numbers, one of which is case number 21-14794 involving Officer Roberts, who has failed. Roberge, R-O-B-E-R-G-E, Roberge, I don't know how to pronounce it. Probably butchering that, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But he's had about a month's time to fill out his police report relevant to a trespass that he responded to on 11/6.
They know what the case number is.
Yeah, they know the case number. They don't have a case. He failed.
It's not done.
He failed to fill out the report, is what the problem
All right,
is.
we'll get it done.
Okay, so that's one issue, but I still need to look at his personnel file. I want to find out how many disciplinaries he has before I leave here today. Okay, the other issue is I've been calling your department about criminal violations of our laws. Connecticut general statutes, felony statutes, misdemeanor statutes, criminal statutes, violations of criminal statutes. Calling this police department and they're telling me I need to go and address those criminal violations in a civil court proceeding. Does that make any sense to you? They're refusing to uphold and enforce criminal law And they're refusing to issue citations, arrests, or even address an issue. They refused to do a well-being check a few days ago. Are you aware of that?
I'll look into it.
Well, these are very serious problems, and there's a 12-year-old minor child whose life has been in grave danger, whose life was neglected, who your officer, Hammock, refused to do a well-being check on about 72 hours ago. Do you find that acceptable?
I'll look into it.
Okay. Would you please look into why your custodian of records has her window still closed? Okay. I want my records.
We're open for business.
Okay.
We can service requests.
She's not responding to me at the window. Can you please?
I'm
She has,
responding to you.
right, well, are you going to get the records for me?
If they're available.
Okay, great. That would be great. But I would
The
also,
personnel files, I will acknowledge a request, and we will work on that.
on the personnel files, okay.
Correct.
Now, would you be able to comment on, I know you weren't the chief. I know you can't really speak for anyone else's work, but as incoming chief, you must have been briefed to some degree by the previous chief, James Kelly. Did he make you aware of a Freedom of Information Act request that's nearly 6 months old, that's been violated, that he's used the town attorney to block?
I'm aware of that, and that
Right.
request is ready to go.
It is ready to go. Interesting. Because I called you about 2 weeks ago and you never returned my call. Is there a reason for that?
Return your phone call. I left you a voicemail saying that information was here. Somebody called the town hall looking for it.
For the town attorney, because the previous chief
Yeah.
wouldn't communicate with me, records wouldn't communicate with me, your department wouldn't communicate with me.
I called the
And
number
for,
I was given back.
right, but to
I-
clarify
you
for the
didn't
audience
get my
here,
message.
I did not, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
Thank you for calling me back. I sincerely appreciate that.
Okay.
However, if I may explain to the audience that the previous chief that this man just replaced, thought that I need to acquire those records through the town attorney and has been blocking my access to those records for 6 months. I've been calling the town hall and trying to reach the town attorney for like 3 or 4 months. And finally, I got a voice message, and he still has yet to return my call. In fact, it seems to me there's 2 or 3, maybe even 4 attorneys on retainer by this town. So even getting the town attorney is next to impossible. And I also find it alarming that Dan Champagne, the mayor, is holding dual office right now, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him either to address the criminal issues and the negligence taking place in this police department. I hope you are the man to fix it. I hope you could kindly give me the courtesy to educate my records, my custodian here, the custodian of records, that she's a public servant and that the citizens of the United States have rights. One of those rights is protected by the First Amendment. It's called freedom of press. When she is in the official course of her official duties, she has no right to privacy. So when I walk over to this window to inspect records, to submit a FOIA request, to ask questions, or conduct business here with my public servants, I have every right to film her. She is breaking the law and denying me services by closing that window and obstructing my right to public information. I would like you to educate that young lady and let her know that she can't do anything about the public filming her in the course of her public duties. I would like the young lady to be professional and treat me like a human being and finish the business that we were conducting at the window, because as chief, you've got far too many, way more important things to be doing. Is that correct, sir?
So what exactly do you need right now?
I need a explanation as to why your officer hasn't filled out case number 2114794. That's Officer Roberts. I need the personnel file of Hammock and Roberts to inspect. It's not anything I need to leave this department with or take home. That doesn't require a FOIA
I'm
request.
not going to provide those right now.
I can work with you on that. I'll give you a little bit, okay? But normally I'd give you a hard time about that, just so you know.
I appreciate it.
All right.
The case being done, I have to look into it.
Right, okay.
So you're not going to get that today either.
So no personnel files, no case file on that. Now, more important, there's a Jacob Kilhenny, who I've been after most of his records for some time now. One of these records has not been adjudicated until as of late, as far as I understand. There was an arrest made, I think it was in March of 2020. It's one of his last 2 arrests by this department in this town. I'd like to inspect a record of that arrest. I don't have that case number off the top of my head, but Jacob Kilhenny is his name, and you guys can find that information. I'd also like the last 3 responses to the residence of Priscilla Perry. She's located at 100 South Street, apartment, whatever's clever. But you'll have Priscilla Perry and Jacob Kilhenny to look into. I need to look at their case files, and I guess that'll do it. No explanation as to why your officer wouldn't fill out his report? You said a month to do it.
I don't know.
You don't know. But do you find that concerning? Do you think that the citizens have a legitimate beef with your records custodian here?
I'd like to look into it further.
Please educate your custodian of records on our rights today, sir.